What is going on, everybody? This is Justin Martinez, aka Jay the Sports Dude, coming to y'all live from my apartment. Hopefully, you all are staying at your homes as well, practicing social distancing and staying safe during this pandemic. And I'm here to provide y'all with a little bit of extra entertainment. That's right, folks. It is time for episode number 10 of Straight Shooter, the offseason web series. It's all over the place. We talk about a little bit of everything with players from New Mexico State. And since this is a very special episode, double digits, which I'm really excited about, we have a very special guest with us, somebody with draft dreams that he hopes to be fulfilled very soon, the Maryland Mamba, Trevelin Queen. Welcome to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me, my guy.
Happy to have you, man. How's the past couple months just been like for you, quarantine and everything?
It's been good. It's been crazy because you can't really prepare yourself for this type of stuff going on in the world. You just gotta find ways to stay safe and to stay focused on what you're trying to accomplish. So I was trying to stay in the gym, stay focused, stay humble. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention to the small things. Because this virus and everything going on in the world, it's like all the small things that people are not really doing, taking serious. So just trying to take serious, take precautions, stay safe or whatever.
Definitely. Well, Aggie Nation has been really excited to see what you're up to next. Just how much you've been looking forward to this process of eventually, hopefully getting drafted in the NBA.
It's been good for us. Like, I was thinking, like, crazy how my senior year, my dream's about to come true, whatever. All this stuff goes on. So, like, it's not the regular process to where, like, the draft already passed. Like, the normal draft day was already due or whatever. So, like, they moved to October 16th. So, I got, like, a little bit more time to prepare and everything like that. So, it's just really crazy, like, how, like, my senior year, everything goes, like, north or south. Like, so, like, it's just crazy. Like, just, like, yeah. Just wild. You can't really put it into words, like, how I feel about it.
Definitely. Well, we've been looking forward to having you on the show, and we're going to go ahead and get into it right now with our first segment. It's called The Film Room. This is where I took a couple of your best plays from last season. You're just going to help break them down for the people. How's that sound?
It sounds good. That's straight.
All right. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, you were third in the team in effective field goal percentage last season with 55.3%. And a big reason for that is because you're able to create separation with your ball handling. Not a lot of guys can hang with you on the perimeter. We got to see that here in a game against Cal Baptist. Let's go ahead and take a look at it.
It's on the spin. Tapped by Cole. Saved by Queen. Step back from the corner.
Wow, well, he's back.
There you go.
Did you see that one, Adam? That may make the highlights there.
He's back indeed. Let me have this dance. So what impresses me here is you don't have a whole lot of room to operate in the corner. However, you hit him with that quick crossover, and once you pretty much get past him, you can do whatever you want at this point, right? Whether it be driving to the rim or stepping back for that three.
That particular game, I was working, like, I warmed up a lot that game, like, because I knew the game was big, my family was in the crowd. So when I got him in that situation, I felt him on my hip, and I knew I could have kept going to the hole or, like, dunk or whatever, but I knew, like, once I brought him back out, I could keep dancing with him. But I knew he wanted to dance a tango for a little bit longer. But I knew once I got that separation off the pound dribble and step back, it was knocked down easily. I really want to flop and get the and one, but I knew, like, they changed the rules and flopping and everything like that, so I just knocked him down and celebrated.
Yeah, definitely. Now, this is a guy who was an inch taller than you. When you have a bigger defender, you kind of know, okay, I'm going to hit him with a couple moves here as opposed to maybe just a spot-up shot.
Yeah, you gotta get them. You gotta find a way to open up their hips and get lower than them and try to separate yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Now in this next clip, we get to see another side of your game on offense, and I think a lot of people forget just how unselfish you are because you did actually rank third on the team in assists per game last season with 2.4, and you had a pretty good dime here in a game against New Mexico. Let's go ahead and check it out.
Lobos have really done a nice job of developing their bench, but I think it's really important in the long basketball season.
Rice, nice. 8 points the last couple of minutes for Jabari Rice.
There it is. Now, I got to admit, I had a lot of other flashier passes that I probably could have shown you. They're real highlight reel stuff. But the reason why I think this one is so impressive is the context behind it. Jabari Rice had just hit 2 3-pointers a couple plays before this. So he's on a little personal 6-0 run. And instead of hitting that 3 ball, because your guy did get caught up in that screen, I really like you're giving it to the hot hand. Is that pretty much the thought process here? Is it feed it to the guy who's on a roll right now?
Yeah, that's what it is. Like you and them, like they're like ball watching a lot. So When I got him off the hip, and I knew Jabari had a high hand, I seen him cutting because Jabari knows when to cut and when the time to cut or whatever. So once I got the dude off the pump fake, I knew he was open for the cut, and I knew like you could see they jumped for literally everything. And he already has a high hand, so I knew he was gonna make the right decision in that situation. After he already scored 6 straight, another bucket is coming from Jabari. You already knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, definitely. I think what's really great is that every time after the game when I talk to Coach Jans, he's always saying that he never has to tell you guys, hey, give it to this guy because he's on a roll. You just already know to do that at this point, being an experienced squad, a very close squad. How much does that really free up just the rhythm, the flow of the game?
It's just because like with the system team, you have to find ways to be able to separate yourself or get going a little bit. So Jabari knocked on 2 shots within the play, and like within the plays we run for a team or for him or the breakdown or whatever, he found ways to score within them. But like after he scored like 2 or 3 back to back, you just gotta give it to him, let him operate, let him work. So we found an open spot for him on that pass right there, and we just let him operate. You see how everybody else is spaced out on the floor, and he's right there working on 1-on-1 or whatever. So it's just finding ways to get the person involved within our system while he has a high hand. So
yeah, definitely. On the defensive side of the ball, you were just as impactful last season. And what I really like is the amount of ground you cover on every single play, whether you're providing some help defense or you're using your closeout speed on the perimeter. We got to see you cover a lot of ground here with a real good hustle play against Missouri, Kansas City in this next clip. So let's go ahead and check it out.
And the Roos have to go 94 feet. Arnett blocked away by Queen.
Yeah, that's it.
And that should be the dagger. Watch Trevelin Queen.
Where did he come from? Out of nowhere.
Got it. Very clutch block right here. Game on the line. Jashire Hardnett driving to the rim, trying to keep the Roos hopes alive here in this one. And I don't even think he really saw you coming. That's just great timing coming from the onside and getting that block. Just walk me through this decision to cave in and help here with Terrell.
I feel like Terrell was like more on his hip, so if he was to like get the shot off, I feel like it would be like more of a foul decision, of like close to an and one. So I was like in between my man and the driver, so I felt like I had more of a chance to help him and be able to close it out to my man. So I took the opportunity with it, and I knew I had the athletic ability to cover up the ground both ways. So I took the chance, took the block with the momentum we had, and then the time went line, the opportunity there. I just knew like I had to gamble with it and take the risk of getting the block, and it worked out in my favor.
Yeah, definitely. And as you mentioned, it's also a calculated risk because at the same time, I think you had a good enough angle where you could contest if it was a kickoff and your closeout speed. I think you would have been able to get there. But either way, just how much do you look forward to these sort of high pressure situations where the game's on the line?
I always look forward to them. I always like remind myself that I work for this and I'm built for this type of moment. So I always take a deep breath, like within the timeout before the play or coming down the court before they even get the ball down the court. I tell myself, all right, you got this. It's your time. It's your chance. It's your opportunity. So I always remind myself positive thoughts. So when the time does come, it works out in my favor, whether it was a shot block or getting a steal or closing out on the pass, whatever it is. I always remind myself that whatever the outcome is going to be a positive one for me. It's always going to be a learning process for me.
Yeah, definitely. And I think awareness is the name of the game for you defensively. You always know where the ball is going. That's a big reason why you led the team in steals last season. And we got to see a pretty good one here in a game against Cal Baptist. It's a different matchup. It's not that first one that I showed you, but it's still a great play nonetheless. So let's go ahead and check it out here.
Trying to get around Brown. Back up top to Boyd, and that pass taken away by Queen. Queen the steal, and he drops it in on the other end, 44-43, New Mexico State.
There you go. Now, I think this is a lot of timing and also just reading the situation. Barron Flavors Jr., a really good three-point shooter, as good as he gets in the whack. However, Terrell Brown does a really good job of forcing him to pick up his dribble. Yvonne is guarding the dump down low. And so really there's only one place where that ball can go, and you're able to be a little more aggressive, right?
Yeah, he only had one option. Like once he got the drive taken away from him and the big rolling, the mid help took that away, and he only had one option of when he picked up his dribble was to swing it out. And me, I like playing possum, playing the passing lane, so that was just lunch and dinner for me. Once I seen him open up and try to take that pass, I knew my first step, my reach, my ability to like leap and get the passes all the time was going to be there. So I just took advantage of that opportunity and read the offense correctly.
Yeah, definitely. No off the glass dunk though in this one, Trev. I'm a little disappointed, man.
First game of I think it's first game of the season, right?
Yeah, first conference game, yeah.
Yep. I had to take it slow, ease my way into the off the backboard with the last game of the season.
But you got it eventually, though, against this same team, so that's all that counts.
Yep.
There you go. Well, that's going to do it for this first segment. Now we're moving on to our next one, and this is actually where I like to find a throwback photo or image of the guys that I'm interviewing. We found some really good ones in the past, and I was trying to find something really throwback for you, but I noticed when I was digging through your Twitter, you have a lot of dunk videos of yours. So what I went ahead and did as a throwback is I put together a compilation of some of your best ones dating all the way back to 2015. Are you ready to check it out?
Oh my God, yeah. Let's see this.
All right, let's go ahead and do it. It's about a minute long here. I think like maybe 6 or 7 dunks, but let's check it out.
Oh my God. That bounce. Hey.
Crazy. If I had,
Hey, the first video, the very first one, that's my first windmill ever. Literally, ever.
Really,
Yeah.
I want to say this is one of your first like dunk videos that you put on your Twitter. I think this one was back to 2015 or something like that, which would have been what, like senior year of high school, more or less.
Yeah, senior year, freshman year at JUCO.
Yeah.
I didn't think I could do that dunk right there. I was just jumping and doing stuff. I didn't know I could make that dunk. I just made it and I'm like, oh, like whatever. Damn.
Yeah. Well, if I had the scorecard here, I would have been putting up 10 for all of them. But which one was your favorite if you had to pick one?
Oh, the windmill, the first windmill ever for sure. 'Cause I was working on that dunk forever, like ever. Like I kept trying and trying. So when I got that windmill, it was over with.
Definitely.
I knew like I was jumping from there.
Yeah. When did you actually pull off your first dunk? At what age?
My first what?
When did you pull off your first dunk? Just at what age?
I think it was senior year of high school, honestly. Maybe like the end of junior year, like junior year summer, beginning of senior year. I got my first dunk.
Got you.
Probably like 16. I probably like 17.
Okay. Got you. Well, definitely that was a pretty cool highlight reel there. But now we're moving on to our next segment, and this is called Hometown Heat. This is where I took a couple of restaurants from your hometown. You're just going to tell me if it's legit or not. How does that sound?
All right, I know it, yeah.
All right, cool. Now, the DMV, Glen Burley, Maryland, is where you're from, correct?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Now, for this first one, what I like to do, I don't know if you follow the show or not, is I like to find the weirdest food that I can find from the person's hometown. Then I get into the more normal ones. But for this first one, this is a very interesting food item that I never heard of before. So you go ahead and let me know a little bit about it. I believe this is called a scrapple. I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I want to get this right. I want to go ahead and say what this is consisting of. This is pork scraps and trimmings combined with cornmeal and wheat flour. Trev, is this that hometown heat? And should this catch on with the rest of the nation?
It's not really hometown heat. It's like, it's just good. It's fire, though. Like, it's good, though. It's really good. But I know, like, it was a Maryland tradition or, like, nothing like that. I know, like, it wasn't known nationwide, but it's a really good meal. It's like breakfast, more of like a breakfast entree, but, like, it's really good. Like, you can't really describe the flavor, but I highly recommend you try it. Like, it looks can be deceiving, but so good. Like, I recommend it, honestly.
Okay, so it's kind of like a sub for like a breakfast sausage type of thing, but I guess something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. Well, now we're moving on to some actual restaurants, and let's go ahead and check this one out. This one is called Seaside Restaurants and Crab House, because obviously crabs a big thing of Maryland in general. Trev, is this that hometown heat?
Hey, this is the home. Like, this is like the top tier of Maryland. Like, if you don't eat crab when you go to Maryland, you might as well just like leave Maryland the same day. Cause even for me, like crabs is like a tradition. Cause I go crabbing. Like people go fishing. I go crabbing. Like I go catch crabs. So like it's really a tradition for me to catch the crab, steam them, and season them. So Maryland got the best crabs for sure in the whole world.
Definitely. Now, is there a certain spot where you think they have the best ones, or is it more so you like to catch them and cook them yourself?
I like casually cooking them myself. You can put the right seasoning, the right timing, and stuff like that. And then when you catch them, after all that hard work, you get to season them yourself, watch them steam. You know what I'm saying? Watch them fall out the bin and running around. So like, this is like a tradition for us. Like, it's fun for us to be able to cook our own, make our own, catch our own, stuff like that.
Definitely. Well, moving on to our next one. This is our last one for Hometown Heat. This is another place called Honeybee Diner is what it is called. Trev, is this that Hometown Heat?
What is that? I was breaking up. What is that?
Honeybee Diner is what this place is called.
Oh shit, that's fire! No bullshit. You can go to Honeybee Diner and get breakfast, lunch, or dinner any time of day. Like sometimes we'll go out and party and stuff like that, and then go to Honeybee Diner like 2:00 in the morning. When I tell you, like that is the best food ever at 2:00 in the morning, I would never like second guess going to Honeybee Diner. If anybody ever recommends Honeybee Diner, I'm all in like instantly. And it's like one of those places like Waffle House where you can kind of see like the chefs in the back cooking and stuff like that. But it's way better. It's way better than Waffle House.
Got you. So I was on the money with pretty much all of these here.
All of them.
There we go. Now I want to know, are there any places that I might have missed? What are some other places that you would recommend to somebody visiting the area?
Piney Orchard Cafe. It's like a breakfast spot.
Mm-hmm.
Fire, like the best breakfast food probably in Maryland, like around Maryland. It's called Piney Orchard Cafe. And then you got Furnace Branch Inn. It's kind of the same thing, more like breakfast foods, breakfast sandwiches, brunch type stuff. Those two places I really recommend going. Like it's like small owned businesses. Like small owned business to me got the best food. Like the ones that you don't really like see everybody talk about, 5-star Yelp reviews, stuff like that. Got the best food for me. That's usually what I recommend. So like go to Furnace Branch Inn or Piney Orchard Cafe.
There you go. We'll have to put up photos of that in post so that people can see it. But now we're moving on to our last segment. This is the fan Q&A segment. I'm going to go back to split screen here. As good as that food looks, let's go back to split screen. Now, I did reach out to Aggie Nation. They had a couple questions that you wanted to get answers. So you ready to give them their answers?
Sure, let's get it.
All right. Now I'm going to pull these up on my phone right here. Let's go ahead and get this started. Our first one is coming from Stephen M. via YouTube, and he wants to know, has Brooke Salas helped your game out any? Now, for those who don't know, she was a walking bucket at New Mexico State, second all-time in points in program history. What have you learned from her game, and how much has it helped driven you during this whole process?
Wait. Can you say it again? It's like a little staticky. You can say it one more time, my bad.
Yeah, so has Brooke Salas helped your game out any?
Hold it up. I can bring this special guest here right now.
Really?
Brooke, hurry up. Hurry now.
You got a guest appearance here, a surprise appearance?
Bring it down. A fan's Q&A question. You're live right now. So what's the question?
Hey, Brooke. Stephen M. via YouTube wants to know what you taught Trev in terms of playing style and just basketball.
What I taught him?
Yeah, because you're number 2 in league scorer.
Oh, that's a tough one. Let's see.
You see that right there? I can tell you right now, just based off, she says, let's see. She hasn't really taught me much. She might have taught me like
post game. He didn't have a post game. I have a post game.
Okay.
A little bit turnaround jumper. He didn't have a turnaround.
It's not really. She taught me. It's like when we play 1-on-1, she might hit me with a move here and there, and I'd be like, "Ooh, I didn't know you had that." So I might steal it from her or whatever like that.
Got you. What's the scouting report when you're playing her 1-on-1?
Scout report?
Yeah.
Take away my mid-range.
Take away the mid-range, and when she clears the ball, she's not going to the rim. She's pulling up for the midi.
Got you.
Don't force her left. She likes going left. Force her right more. I like forcing her left because she doesn't have that much in her bag sometimes.
Got you. Brooke, what's the scouting report on Trev?
Don't let him shoot.
Straightforward.
Foul him every time he goes to the room.
There you go. You can't foul out in 1v1, right?
Nope.
There you go.
All intentional fouls, all flagrants, all jail rules when she plays them.
Yeah. I see you rocking her jersey, right? Can we get a look at that on the camera?
It's my house jersey, so I wear it for her. So sport. I feel like I get like a little bit like superpowers when I wear it, whatever.
Yeah.
Hype her up.
There you go. Let's go to move on to our next question here. This is coming from Christy_NM via Twitter, and she says, "Hey Trev, lucky for us, we were there for your last NMSU game on senior night. As ESPN Sports Center's Dan Patrick would say, you were simply en fuego. Why did everything click for you that night, and how did it feel after that game?"
I get chills just thinking about it. Like, if you've been to any of my games throughout my career, and if you see like my family in the stands, you know, like my whole I'm tunnel vision. Like I'm so like locked into like every possession. Like every time I score, you can see me even look up to the stands. Like it was just like a bigger moment to me. Like we was about to break the record of going undefeated in the WAC conference. My family was there. I'm playing senior night where I haven't played a full year of basketball my whole entire life. It just felt like everything was right. I felt like my grandmother was there. She passed away. I felt like she was there with me because I kept getting chills every time I would score. It's like everything that could possibly go good that night went good that night. So it's just like I felt like I was in my own world. Like everything was just Trev. Like it wasn't like in a selfish way. It just felt like everything was finally going good for me in life. So it just felt good to be able to like have tunnel vision and black everything out and throw it off the backboard for myself.
Yeah, definitely. It was all just coming full circle for you pretty much.
Yeah, like it was a full, complete circle for the first time in my life. Like it just felt good.
There you go. And you definitely did ball out in that game. Now moving on to our last question here. This one is coming to us courtesy of Tucson Aggie via Aggie Alert. He says, as a Maryland guy, now having spent 2 years around the best chili on the planet, are you ready to try crab cakes with green chili? He says.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely willing to try the green chili. I know the green chili because like when I got an interview from the NBA, they just asked me one question. They was like, red or green? And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, red or green? And I was like, green. They're like, oh, I like green chili too. So it was like a little joke or whatever. So yeah, I recommend trying that green chili. It's really good. I recommend it. It's definitely famous out there in New Mexico and definitely Las Cruces. So if you go to Las Cruces, New Mexico, you better try the green chili or you're missing out.
Yeah, there you go. We actually had a pretty funny moment when I was talking to Clayton a couple episodes ago, where one of the fans had said red or green on the fan Q&A to Clayton, and he didn't know what he was talking about. And we thought it was both colors.
Yeah.
I'm only a year on the job, so I was like, well, what's your favorite color, I guess? And I got so much hate from the comments, so many emails. Now I know the answer was just Christmas. Just say both colors are the best thing to go, pretty much.
Yeah. Right. That's
There
the
you
easiest
go.
way out.
Yeah. But that is going to do it for this episode, Trev. Thank you so much for being on the show. You guys can follow me on Twitter at JTheSports, and you can follow Trev on Twitter at Trev_up. We're definitely looking forward to seeing what you do next, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You guys can find new episodes of Straight Shooter every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. And again, we're all just looking forward to seeing what you're doing, man. Take care.
Yes, sir. You stay safe, man. Stay doing what you're doing. I like what you're doing, man. It's a positive thing for the environment, positive thing for the world, man. Stay safe and keep doing what you're doing, man.
I appreciate that, man. Likewise. Take care.